Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I want to give you a current news update because a lot has happened. As you know, as is being revealed more and more inside Gaza, there is the city that you see above ground, and then we have the entire city of tunnels below ground. The Israeli military has found, I don't even know how many miles of tunnel network below Gaza. The Israeli military, and I can hear jets above me. The Israeli military found another big tunnel system today. Where was it located? Under a cemetery in Gaza. There is no place that's holy for this despicable, evil terrorist organization. So the Israeli Defense Forces found a big tunnel system under I'll show you some photos later, under a cemetery. In that tunnel, there were terrorists. They met and they took out these evil Nazi terrorists. There were explosive devices, sliding doors, blast-proof doors. It was an office belonging to a Khan Yunis battalion commander, one of those who carried out and planned the attack on October 7. There was an operation room, command and control center, and living quarters for several senior officials of Hamas. It was also used to command attacks on Israeli forces below ground and above ground. Here are some photos you can see. I hope you can see. It's fully functioning kitchen, living quarters, living rooms, TV, PlayStations. It's just unbelievable. And here is the map, the Israeli Defense Forces. You can see the entire layout of the cemetery and the tunnel system. There's not one place that is holy for Hamas. So that's what the Israeli Defense Forces was doing. One of the things they were doing, and that whole tunnel system was then blown up. The military is moving forward towards or in Khan Yunis, which is like a main center for Hamas in the Gaza Strip. And as some of these terrorists saw the forces were approaching them, they fired, and this was less than an hour ago, Hamas fired 11 rockets towards Israel. Probably they saw this as their last chance before the Israeli military got closer to them. So 11 rockets were fired less than an hour ago towards the central parts of Israel, towards Tel Aviv. 7 of those rockets were shot down by the Iron Dome system, and 4 landed in an open area. But I want to show you a video so you can see what it's like. Here is one of the rockets in Tel Aviv that fell. It was shut down. Look, with all of these people, it fell on the streets among all the cars. So we can only say thank you, God, that no one was injured today when this fell. Look at this. This is the map. When the code reds are sounding, I hope you can see it with the light. When this code red is sounding, people have to run for their lives. Once again, millions of Israelis has to run for their lives when these despicable, evil Hamas, ISIS terrorists decide, let's just try again to kill as many innocent Jewish babies and grandmothers, and you have to run for your life. When that siren goes off, if you're sitting on the toilet, if you're standing in the shower, if you're sitting breastfeeding your kid, if you are in the car, you have to seek shelter immediately. There's a lot of old houses here in Israel. They don't have bomb shelters. Can you imagine an elderly lady with a roller and she's living on the 3rd floor and she has to get down the stairs to the bomb shelter? It's not possible. So after more than 100 days of wars, Hamas managed to fire 11 rockets towards central Israel. And like I said, this happened literally less than an hour ago. So we have had 2 terror attacks today. out in Samaria near Tekoa, there was a terrorist with a knife who attacked the security forces there, who tried to commit a terror attack and kill the security forces near Tekoa. And the soldiers managed to take out and injure this terrorist before he managed to injure anyone. That was the first terror attack. Then in Haifa, up in the northern part of Israel, there's a military base, and there was an Israeli Arab who decided, let's go out and murder Jews. Let's go out and murder soldiers. So he got into his car, he drove up, and he actually hit a soldier. He managed to hit a soldier and moderately to severely injuring him. The terrorist then got out of his car with an axe, and he tried to chop down this soldier and other soldiers before he was neutralized. So that was 2 terror attacks here in Israel today. One soldier being injured when he was rammed down with this car, but thank goodness that terrorist was taken out before he managed to kill anyone with the axe that he was carrying. And just as the news is breaking with this terror attack, I'm watching Israeli news, and they are actually interviewing an Israeli intelligence officer, and she was saying that every day we, the army and whoever she's talking about, we are monitoring social media, and especially many Telegram groups for Palestinians, where they are being encouraged. They are encouraging young people to join the fight to liberate Palestine. And if you have a car, go in your car, go out and ram soldiers. If you can't find soldiers, find civilians who look Jewish. If you have a knife, go out, kill the soldiers, go out, kill the civilians. And just as she's talking about this terror attack is being announced with a guy who took an axe from his house, got into his car, and set out to kill soldiers. So this is a culture of pure hatred amongst the Palestinian Arabs, who is learning from the day they're being born, coming in with the breast milk from their mom, that they need to liberate Palestine and murder all the Jews. Something we see again and again. That's what they're being taught when they go to school. That's what they're doing when they're doing a school play. When I was in school, we were doing Aladdin in a school play. They are learning how to liberate Palestine. They are putting on shows where they are dressed as terrorists killing Israeli soldiers and Israeli civilians. It's absolutely horrendous. With this happening, Israel is still being pressured and pressured. You need to give up land, you need to give up lands. But Israel doesn't have a peace partner. It doesn't matter if it's Hamas, if it's Hezbollah, not Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, or PLO, or Fatah, Abu Mazen, terrorist in a suit. Israel doesn't have a peace partner. On top of that, 2 Israeli soldiers were injured in the northern border when Hezbollah fired into Israel again. So a lot of activity here in Israel today. On top of that, we are getting more information that there are being negotiations about a new hostage deal for more hostages to be released. They have been inside Gaza now for more than 100 days, being sexually assaulted, being starved. We can't even, the conditions they are in, how many is still alive. So there are very high level meetings, and I just heard in the news that the Israeli War Cabinet is meeting later tonight, where they are going to be discussing all of this. The price is going to be very, very high. Here's the thing. We had all of these innocent civilians who was in their bed sleeping or sitting having breakfast on Black Saturday, October 7, Simchat Torah, and they were brutally assaulted. Innocent civilians from their homes or people who are walking on the streets or sitting in their car, or the young people who was at the music festival. Civilians were dragged, innocent civilians has been kept inside Gaza now. They haven't been allowed to see any doctors. The Red Cross haven't been allowed to see them. They didn't get the medicine. We haven't been informed that they got the medicine that came into Gaza that was for them, designated for them. And in order for Israel to get home innocent civilians, again, Israel has to release hundreds of security prisoners, hundreds of terrorists with Jewish blood on their hands. They are even talking about that the vile Nazi terrorists, some of them who committed the atrocities on October 7, could be released for innocent Israeli civilians who were kidnapped in their bed, who was kidnapped at a music festival. And the world is just standing there and condemning Israel that not enough aid is coming into the innocent civilian in Gaza. Did you know that 10% of the people who is hired by UNRWA inside Gaza are part of Hamas? They are part of Hamas. And all of those who don't actively is out killing Jews or kidnapping Jews, they support Hamas. Do you think for a second that Hamas, who have shown the whole world who they are, they would allow an organization inside Gaza who is not on the line with them, who doesn't do what they're saying? Of course not. You would be completely brain dead if you believe that. So when UNRWA is saying, oh, we are shocked, we are horrified that any of our workers are affiliated with Hamas, they know that completely. They are completely explicit and taking part of the atrocities that happen towards Israel, with so many of their workers actively connected to Hamas. Do you think there's any leaders in UNRWA Hamas has not approved? Of course not. It's ridiculous to think anything else. So many more countries are saying, we are not going to fund that. And why is it, by the way, that America and the European Union and countries in Europe are the biggest donors to keep Palestinians alive and with a budget but more than 1.6 million a year? Where are their Arabs, brothers and sisters? Where are the Muslim world? Where is the Arab world? Why are they not the one funding UNRWA? Because they don't care about the Palestinians. They're being as a tool to come against Israel. So there are so many things to this that I really hope that the politicians in Europe are waking up to see, my goodness gracious, why are we using tax dollars from people in Finland, from people in England, from people in Denmark, who could have paid money to our senior citizens, to our healthcare system in Europe? Why are we pouring that into a UNRWA, who is supporting the annihilation of the Jewish people, who is completely embedded with Hamas? So for all of you, if you find out my country is a donor country for UNRWA, don't sit still and not do something. Contact your government and say, excuse me, why are you using my hard-earned money, tax money, to support terrorism against the Jewish people? Like I said, for such a time as this, I will always stand with Israel. Have a good evening. Bye.